have generated this fall, we could move the entire world. That was a hell of a You don't have to get doped out of your mind to have fun. You prove that very, very nicely. What an incredible band you have. What an not only a band leader, but an entertainer, an organizer. What a job you do there. For years and years and years, he takes a handful of people and within hours almost, he's been able to create this incredible scene. I'm part of what's left of the World War II generation. We're going out at the rate of about 600 a day, so there aren't a hell of a lot of us left. However, I must confess that sometimes we get a little bit nervous when we look out on the youth scene today, and we wonder, hey, maybe these are not guys that are going to pick up the torch that we're passing to them and do the kind of job we like. And then I come here, this is my 24th year, and when I come here, I know that things are going to be all right. You have manners, you have grace, you can carry on intelligent conversations. You're good people. You're the kind of folks that all of us older people would like to see as the fathers of our grandchildren. You are wicked awesome. I keep in contact. I've had so many young people that have gone out into that world, and when you see what they've done, they go to the finest schools. Finest schools not only in the United States, but they go to colleges overseas. One of your previous members was a classmate of the future King of England. I mean, that's how far we got. Now, I want to tell you a little story about something that happened to me in Alabama a few months ago. I was speaking at the University of Alabama to a bunch of veterans who are now students. There's an organization. They've served their time. They now are back in civilian life, and they're going to college. And they want to get together. They have a lot in common. And they asked me to come and speak. And when I was finished, a young fellow came over and said, "Can I get a picture with you?" I said, "Sure, but what do you want to do with it?" And he said, "Well," he said, "I heard you at Boys State about 5 years ago." And he said, "I want to send that picture to all of the guys that I'm still in touch with." And that tells you a lot when you make friends in the short time that you have together. And 5 years later, you're still all in contact with each other. That shows the kind of people. Every couple of years, I bring my grandson up here to take part in this. I wanted to know the kind of young man I wanted to be in a couple of years. I don't suck up to audiences. That's not my style. I don't bullshit anybody. I want to talk about some other people that are in this room. While we have millions of people in this country, unfortunately, that are turning their backs on their kids, they don't even look in their direction. They're not raising them. They're not the kind of men they should be. Some of them aren't the kind of women they should be. They don't take care of their own kids. And what a horrible thing. And then you come here and you look around this room and you see these counselors that come here, some of them year after year after year. You realize, of course, that they give up a huge amount of their time. They're not being asked to come and go to a meeting or something. They go to many meetings, the time they have to take to prepare this. And then they give up a week's vacation. That is an incredible sacrifice. And that's I want to talk to you about it is because, as has been pointed out many times, you're taking over. You're going to be making major decisions, and it makes a lot of difference if you understand how the news media works. And I haven't got time to go into a lot of things, but I just want to mention a few quick points. Number one, the news media is the most powerful influence in your country. They will have more influence on your future than any other thing in the country. That includes the president, Congress, or whatever. The news media has more influence, long range, than those things. And let me give you just one example. We had endless problems. Problems at the local level, the state level, the national level, international level. We have so many problems, we're not even going to get around to looking at most of them, let alone solving them. And so how do you decide which of those problems you're going to work on? It's rare that the politicians come up with that. Usually, the problems that get on the list of things to do are the ones that the news media discovers. When the news media puts a searchlight on a problem, that problem goes on the list of those things that we're going to try to do. And the bigger the spotlight and the more frequently they put it on, the higher the priority goes. That is incredible power. It is very, very important that you understand a couple things about that news media. The one above all is that we have two kinds of reporters out there. We have what we call objective reporters. Objective reporters think their job is to go out and gather information about the things that you are interested in and the things that you need to know about. And they think that when they report those things, they are to include all the major facts. They're to give you both sides if there's more than one side. And they are to keep their opinions out of the story. That is what an objective reporter is all about. We also have, and a huge number of them, advocate journalists or advocacy journalists. And they are very frequently aiming at doing something entirely different. When they cover stories that they don't care about, they're about the same as an objective reporter. But when they cover those things that they care about, maybe when they're covering a political campaign or something like a climate change thing, then when they are covering those things, they slant the stories. They try to get inside your head. They try to manipulate you into supporting the people and the causes that they support and to be against the people and the causes that they are against. And always be aware that that is happening. Nobody can tell you what percentage of the reporters are advocate journalists, but there are a tremendous number of them. And you're being bombarded every day by propaganda coming from them. By the way, you can remember about the kind of folks with two simple words. The objective reporters are trying to pass on knowledge to you. They are trying to inform you. The advocate journalists are trying to influence you. And don't let them get by with that. Now, how do you do that? I haven't got time to go through the list, but I can name the one most important way that journalists slant news stories. And that's by what they don't report. Any journalist worth a dime, any writer worth a dime, can do the same thing that I will describe. And that is, you give me a subject. I'll take that subject and I'll write you 1,000 words about it. And every single word in that story will be true. And yet, when you have finished reading it, you will have a totally false image of what happened by what I left out. I can write this fact, this one, ad infinitum. But if I leave out this, or if I leave out this, you have a totally different picture of what happened, or if you will, what didn't happen. And so keep those things in mind. When you read, when you watch, when you listen to news, always be aware that you may be getting advocate journalists, and they may be trying to play with your head, and don't let them get away with it. Now, how do you get around that? I I don't have a place that I can send you and say, get your news here, you'll get the total story. Unfortunately, that doesn't exist. And so what can you do? You put as many different sources as you can. Look at both sides of everything if you can do it. For example, Fox News is conservative. MSNBC is very liberal. CNN is liberal. Now, what's happened that's a problem is that the conservatives all listen to Fox News. The liberals all listen to MSNBC. And what they do is they keep hardening their position in a particular direction. And there are studies that show that if you do that long enough, after a while, your brain will not accept any information that goes against what you already believe. And that means that you become almost an automaton for one side or the other. And what I'm urging you is to read both, watch both, listen to both. If you're going to watch Fox, watch CNN. If you're going to watch MSNBC, also watch Fox. Go to as many different magazines, newspapers. Don't just stay with the same one all the time. And by the way, when it comes to foreign news, I get most of my foreign news now from overseas sources. You are very fortunate that you live in a country that the language is English, because English is the language of the world. That's what people speak out there everywhere you go. And because of that, you can get English language news from all over the world. There's hardly a country around that doesn't have English. We take 6 shows a day that we're able to get on several different channels. We get BBC, obviously in English, British Broadcasting. We watch French television in English. We watch German television in English. We watch Japanese television in English. Arab television in English. Israeli television in English. You can get all of that. If you can't get it on a television set, you can go online. We also get Chinese television in English online, Russian television in English online. And so you not only will have much more understanding of news, but you are going to have a bigger understanding of the world if you start to look into those places. And knowledge is what it's all about. Now, I want to talk about you, meaning you as young people who are heading out into that big world. Age has a lot of drawbacks, your eyebrows start to look like a Brazilian jungle. You start to grow hair in your ears, little things like that. Young ladies start calling you sir. The worst one of all was when the first time I realized how far over the hill I was on a crowded bus. And I started to flirt with a young lady, and she smiled. I wish the story had that kind of happy ending. After she smiled, she got up and offered me her seat. How you feel in a situation like that. And of course, another part of it that isn't that great is the fact you know you're going to die a lot sooner. But there's good stuff to it. Denny's has cheap meals for you. Boy Scouts help you across the street. Sometimes they take you across the street when you didn't even want to go across the street. Whatever. And the biggest good thing about being an old person is sometimes young people will listen to you. They figure you may not make it until nightfall, so they'll be nice to you. So I will take advantage of that and pass along some thoughts. I'm 87, pushing 88, so else for having reached that far. I've seen a lot. I watched my generation grow up. I watched grandparents grow up. I watched your parents grow up. And I saw the things they did. I watched the mistakes they made, and I saw the price they paid for some of those mistakes when they were young. And I watched the things they did right when they were young, and I watched what the rewards were. And so I know a little bit about that big world out there and how it works. First of all, get your priorities straight. Get that straight, because the latest studies show that young people in modern countries, advanced industrialized countries, are likely to live 100 years. But not just 100 years, 100 good years. In other words, all the problems that I have as an old guy, you won't have. I have one eye. And not much longer they'll be able to just replace things like that. You don't have to worry about being a dithering old person that doesn't remember what you're doing. Because after a while they're going to find a chemical balance that will bring their brain back to where it should be. And so you have a possibility out there of an incredible life. And don't screw it up by doing something stupid when you're a young person. There are rules that are very simple. And if you just remember and follow them, they'll help a lot. At the top of that list is one you probably all heard. Life is tough. But it's a lot tougher when you're stupid. Don't be stupid. When I say don't be stupid, some people say, well, wait a minute, nobody wants to be stupid. Well, you know what? Most of the stupid things that people do, they knew they were stupid when they did them. Just take a look at just take a look at some of the women that some guys date. Take a look at some of the guys that some women date. You telling me they don't know they're losers? Of course they know it, and they know straight ahead. Now, everybody in the world wants to be cool. Everybody, old people, young people, but especially people in your age bracket. Being cool becomes the most important thing in the world. And you have your choices. You can either be cool, or you can make believe you're cool. And unfortunately, most young people make believe they're cool. Now what I mean by that is they get into the latest fad. They get into the latest fashion. They think that if they buy some particularly expensive brand of sneakers, somehow that makes them cool. What the hell is cool? The only thing you've done is to prove that you're a sucker for the guys that are selling the sneakers. And that's part of the cool. And there are so many other things that young people do. One of the things that, and you may or may not be involved, but one of the things is binge drinking. I haven't been able to figure out, and if anybody can come and tell me afterwards the answer to my question, I'd be happy to hear from you. Binge drinking, that means that you drink until you're bombed out of your mind, and you puke on your shoes and you pee in your pants. What the hell is cool about that? And then we have sexting of all the dumb things and everything. That's going to come back and bite you in the ass for the rest of your life if you're not careful. to be cool, you're not. Because cool means to be authentic. And you can't make believe. And what is real cool? Real cool means to be in charge of you. It means to have real, positive self-confidence based on achievement, which is the only way you can get it, based on achievement and all sorts of things that you can throw in, but above all, knowledge and knowing how the world works, having experience and having achievement. By the way, another point, your own self-rating system tells more about you than anything else. And the way that you do that is by a group you hang out. That is the key to everything. One of the most important decisions you will ever make in your life is choosing those people, those friends that are going to be in your inner circle. Because basically we have found out in study after study, those people that hang out with winners end up being winners, and those people that hang out with losers end up being losers. And go out and get knowledge about everything and anything. I said that to be really cool, you have to have experience and achievement. To have those things, you have to have knowledge. The more that you know, the more you're capable of knowing. The more that you know, the more interesting the world is to you, and the more interesting you are to other people. Knowledge about everything and anything. Every movie that you go to, every television program you watch, every book that you read, every person that you meet becomes more interesting when you have knowledge. So go out and get knowledge. You hear a lot of young people say that they're bored. And I can tell you why they're bored. They're bored because they're boring. They don't know anything about anything. They can't get into a conversation. And the final point, build character. That's the mission. That's important throughout your life and every time in your life. Build character. You never finish that job. But at your age, it's especially important. What you're building right now is what you're going to be for the rest of your life. Character is what it's all about. People without character are dull and uninteresting. And character is how you make it. And let me tell you that there are things out there that are worthwhile and there are things that aren't. And character goes with the ones that are really worthwhile. You want to be a leader? You have to have character. You want to have good relationships, especially romantic relationships, marriage, you have to have real character. That is what's basic. And I can tell you something. As you heard in the introduction, I've been a foreign correspondent. I've been all over the world. You name it, I've been there. I covered a bunch of wars. I've known kings and presidents and whatever. And of all the things that I've done in my life, there's one that just stands out above all the others. If I was told tomorrow that I was going to have another trip here, and in the next life, I would not be able to do any of the things that I've done in this life, but one. If they say you can do one of the things and that's it, there is no question what I would do, and that is, I would find that one person, that wonderful, wonderful one person that wants to share their happiness with me for the rest of their life. To accomplish that, you have to have character. And you have to find that somebody that has character. And what's character mean? Character means having real values. Character means being noble. term you don't even hear much anymore. It means realizing that it's more important to be wise than to be clever. It means accepting responsibility. It means having self-respect and respect for other people. It means having dignity. And it means being nice. It is so sad to go out there and see how few people are really nice anymore. You can't even get somebody to stop at the side of the road and let somebody else into the line. You just get frozen out, nobody cares. And nice is what it's all about. And when you pick that one person that you're going to share your happiness with, remember, nice goes at the top of the list. Other things wear out, but nice goes on and on. We admire people that are successful. We respect people who are smart, but we love the people that are nice. And so be nice. That's an incredible world out there. When you've been in it as long as I have, you've seen the best and you've seen the worst. And when it's all put on the scale, wow, does it come out good. Now, I'm not a stupid man. I know how bad it can be. I lost my first wife. I lost my 19-year-old son. It does not get any worse than that. But when you put it all on the scale, when you see what the balance is, and you realize that I had that wonderful, wonderful kid for almost 20 years, I had all the good things that go with having your son. That is that much good, and the loss was heavy, but doesn't even begin to compare to the good. And so that world is good, but you've got to prepare to handle it. You've got to learn how to prepare to handle the bad stuff when it comes your way. And it is an incredible trip. And you know what? The sad part about it is you can't wait for FedExpress to ring the bell and bring you this big box with the world in it. It doesn't work that way. You've got to get yourself. Great, great life and good.